Master Remit, in partnership with Bittersweet, makes sending money to Africa simple, fast, and secure. With competitive rates, instant transfers, and 24/7 support, we make it easy for you to send money home anytime, anywhere. Join thousands of satisfied customers who trust Master Remit for their transfers, knowing your money is in safe hands. In collaboration with Bittersweet, Master Remit, transfers made simple.
Welcome to another episode of the Bittersweet Podcast. It's your girl, Wintana, and today we have a very exciting episode coming up. We've got two Aussie icons, legends in the podcasting game.
I'm like, where?
Oh my God, you've got two icons?
Two icons are sitting right in front of me. We have two broke chicks in the studio with us today. Woo! Yes, the
Why we
energy.
like this?
No, but I love it. It's like you guys just bounce off each other, and I'm here for it.
Yes.
Yes.
We're
Should be our
trapped.
third today.
Our third.
Inappropriate.
No?
Inappropriate.
Okay. Floating.
You guys are like in sync.
Yeah.
There's something.
We finish each
It's
other's
like
sentences.
Two, yeah.
We're an old married couple.
Yeah.
We are often compared to the twins from The Shining.
I
So,
love. Okay, that's
Yeah.
kind of scary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
I was about
You'll
to say I
find-
love it.
you'll
I was like,
find
that's
out.
actually kind of
Terrifying.
scary. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like Pain and Panic from Hercules, like that
Yeah.
kind of vibe. Yeah.
I see it though, and I'm so here for it. Thank you guys so much for jumping on. I got the reply, and I was like, yes, we're gonna have two broke chicks
Oh, our
on. Like you guys are
pleasure.
just like
Yeah.
good vibes. I walked into the studio. Again, shout out to MIK Studios for setting this whole thing up. And you walked up to me, Sal, and she just gave me the energy that I needed. And I was like, this is going to be a good vibe. So
I like hugged you immediately. I was saying earlier, I was like, really should check with
she
people
did
if
know,
they
because I'm like that
want
too.
to hug first instead of just assuming that everybody wants to be swaddled by me as soon as I meet them. But I'm glad you
Yeah,
reciprocated.
I feel like I had my hands out. Even when the last guest came on, I'm like, are you a hugger? Because I just go in for the hug.
Yeah. Well, I'm a go in for the hug that I should also be asking. Am I going to kiss?
Yeah.
No? Okay, sorry.
You just took it the next step, yeah?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
let's go all the way.
Oh, you want to
We're
fuck?
gonna
I'm kidding.
You did.
All right, let's get into this.
Can we swear, by the way?
You can.
Just checking.
Feel,
Okay,
this is
cool.
like free conversation, guys.
Good.
Fab.
Just checking.
There's going to be a lot we get into, but before we get into it, I'm going to do a little icebreaker.
Love
Love.
it.
Okay, so I'm assuming, well, I mean, I know we're all like either in our 30s, early 30s, or like going on to our 30s. So I have a few questions that are kind of like related to that. And I want you guys to answer myth or truth.
Okay.
Yep.
So first one is you care way less about what people think in your 30s. Is that a truth or a myth?
Truth. As
Yeah.
a one person, right, in my 30s? Yeah, truth.
I consider myself as turning 29 a month. I'm part of the 30 committee. I've like
Yeah.
rounded up.
Oh, you've rounded up?
I rounded
love
up.
that for you.
I rounded up because I need to be able to say, because I'm like, no one cares about what a 29-year-old thinks. They're like,
Facts.
boring.
And
What do you know shit
I think 28, 29 are just
28,
like irrelevant.
29, it's like, what are you doing
You
here?
may as well be in
You
your
might
30s.
as well move
Yeah.
on. But
So
like,
I'm
I'm kind
just
of
rounding
like,
up so I sound
not-
interesting, you know? But I just think by the time you have gone through your 20s, you just accept the fact that there are people that aren't going to like you. You're not going to be their cup of tea. And you kind of just, like, not necessarily assume it because it's a bit of a negative perspective.
Yeah.
But I think it's just a reality.
Yeah.
And you kind of come to terms with that reality because as well, there's going to be people you don't like.
I think there's that too. I think you just
Yeah.
need to like it's just a mature way of thinking. Like
Yeah.
for me, there's that in your like mid 20s or like early 20s, you're kind of like I want to be like, you know,
people pleaser.
accepted.
Yeah.
Essentially, like just be around people and have that like I guess be on everyone's good books.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
I
think
still
the
have
older
my
you get, you're
flare-ups.
just kind of like
I'm
yeah, my
like,
crash
I'm
outs.
like, oh,
I'm
you
like-
hate me, fuck. And I'm like,
Yeah.
it's fine. Who cares?
No, I agree with that though. You really do care less.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Next one is clubbing is embarrassing in your after 30.
Oh,
Myth or
Myth.
truth?
I mean,
Yeah.
I've never been like a clubber.
Yeah, we're
But,
more like dive bar
yeah.
kind of girls. So I
Dive bar?
Dive bar,
Like
like,
a
rock and roll, like
roll kind
Coyote
of dive bar.
Ugly, that kind of vibe.
Okay.
Yeah.
But like, I like pop off. I
Yeah.
love that.
I think
Yeah.
as long as you're having fun, you're never too old to go to a club.
If anyone's hating on someone for going clubbing at any age, they need to be focusing more on the fun that they're having. Like
Yeah.
that person's boring. To
No,
me.
I fully get what
I'm
you're
like,
saying.
why are you watching someone else? You're not very interesting either.
You're caring too much about what they're
Yeah.
thinking. Do you know what I did though? In the last episode that I had, like a few episodes ago, we were talking about what What was the question was like clubbing in your 30s, like bitter or sweet. Like we have this game that we play. And I feel like clubbing the same way I was clubbing in my early 20s, in my 30s is a bit like.
I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah.
But I think clubbing in general in your 30s is not a wrong thing or a bad thing.
Like
but I
going
think
for drinks with
The
girls.
way that you club.
let's pack it up. Let's
In the club, we all fam. Yeah.
I'm like, in my 30s, I'm wearing flats to the club.
Right.
Yeah.
Like it is
Completely
convenient.
different
I don't
scenario.
think I've worn heels.
I'm not
in,
pulling
like-
out pennies from and trying to make it work. You know what I mean? I'm
Yes.
actually like, I'm having a good time.
It's
It's
a
just very
different
different. Yeah. Cutting off friends gets easier in your 30s.
Oh, I would actually say myth.
Yeah.
I think it's harder. I think keen to hear what you think, but there are a lot more like kind of milestones that you expect / want friends to be there for potentially within that decade. Like we do get a lot of people writing in onto Broke Chicks about, for example, weddings when they've had bridesmaids and they've had falling outs from that, or when they've had babies and they haven't been able to keep up friendships from
Yeah.
that. And that's been a lot harder. I think sometimes in your 20s there's so much newness. Like
Yeah.
there's like new job, university, you actually have so many new people coming in
Yeah.
your life that it's kind of like there's lots of freshness to it, right? But
Yeah.
when you're in your 30s, those are kind of the friends that have been there for a while.
Yeah.
And so when you're cutting those friends off,
Okay, I
kind
can
of,
see
what do
that
you
perspective.
think?
I didn't even think about it from that
Yeah.
perspective, actually. I was
Yeah.
thinking about it from the perspective of, you know yourself so much more.
Yeah.
And so when you don't tolerate as much and you're just like, well, if this is not serving me, I feel like I'm more confident to say, actually, like, I'm not going to be here for that. Whereas in my
100%.
20s, I'm like, this is my best friend. And like, I'm just
no,
like,
I agree with
do you
that
get
as
me?
well.
But
Like
I've-
you're better at setting boundaries in your 30s.
yeah, that's how I like perceived how I thought of the question.
Yeah,
But what do you
no, I
think?
get
Yeah,
that.
I think ending a friendship is never easy, no matter what your
Yeah.
age is. But definitely in your 30s, with a lot of your friendships, you have history there. And as Al was saying, like you go through different life stages. And I feel like in your 30s, you navigate that way more than you did in any decade previously. Like because people are getting married, they're getting more, into their career, they're having kids, that kind of thing. And you see more lifestyle change in your 30s than you did in your 20s. And that can really impact friendship. But I do agree, you're more sure of yourself. And I think
Put up with less shit.
yeah, and we're
Yeah.
more aware of like the signs of a toxic friend. I
Yeah.
think in your 30s, but it's still
100%.
really hard.
It sucks both ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both of them are a myth.
What about
Both of them
making
are
friends?
truth. Ooh.
Making friends in your 30s is it
Oh,
harder? or
I would say it's
easier?
harder when you're in your 30s than early 20s because there's so much more like forced proximity in your early 20s.
Facts. That's very true. That's
forced
very, very
proximity
true.
is like
yeah.
the easiest way to make
Yeah.
friends.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're like early
Uni.
teens as well. Like,
Yeah.
well, not teens, but like high school,
Yeah,
all of
yeah,
that. Like you have those,
high
yeah.
school, uni, or even if you're not going out as much, like you're probably not going to meet your new best friend in your living room.
Yeah.
And if you're not going out to the clubs and whatnot in your 30s, then you might not be like running into the girls in the bathroom when they're like crying
Yeah.
over their ex, and you're
You're like,
like, I
"Fuck
love
that
your
guy."
eyeshadow, and then you become
and you like
best friends.
relate over that and you're like, yeah.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
definitely not impossible, but it's a matter of putting yourself out there. We're all on the same page.
Yeah, I feel like
We're
we're all
best
just like
friends now.
we're like just repeating what everyone else is saying. To start this episode off, I want to get to know you girls. Like, obviously, you're two best friends.
No, we actually hate each other.
okay, so it's all
I
didn't. How did you like? I guess like talk to me about the introduction of
love
Two
story.
Broach- Yeah, how did that put together?
Sure. So Sal and I met 7 long years ago. We actually both worked at our old job together, and that's how we met. And we both worked as journalists, and like we pretty much became best friends within like 6 months of working there. We had matching tattoos within 6 months, which I actually don't recommend doing. We're like kind of lucky that worked out.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
risky behavior.
Yeah, risky behavior from us.
Yeah.
But I honestly do think it was like we are very, very lucky to have found each other because we are very similar. And I think if you asked us, maybe I would say 4 years ago when we were 3 years into our friendship or 2 years into our friendships, why, we were so close and best friends. And we would say it's because we're so similar. We have so many similar interests in like movies and music and the same type of humor and blah, 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 blah. But we are actually very different. And I do think that's kind of what has made our friendship last so long and why we get along so well. And it's because like where I lack, Sal lifts me up, and where, you know, I can support Sal. Like that's, you know, my number one mission in life. You know, it sounds very lame, but you know, we genuinely do say that we're in like a platonic relationship. Like you know, Sal's got her partner and I have my partner, but our friendship is, I would say, like the same level as that.
It's like a sisterhood. Like I see you guys and I'm like, this is, and it's beautiful because I have relationships like that. I think it's another layer. The blessing is that you also work together. Like you're doing, there's something else that's like your friendship and career. But like I feel like it's a blessing when it's like this deep and you guys just seem like your sisters. It's so cute.
Aw, thanks.
It's like
People either think it's really cute or disturbing, and I'm happy with either of those
like
options.
that. I like
Do you guys
that
ever
sandwich.
fight?
No, neither of us are super confrontational in that way. Like,
But we'll just say it.
yeah,
Like,
we will have a conversation before it ever gets to that point, and I think we're the same in our romantic relationships as well.
Yeah.
yeah. Like I feel like even when we're traveling, like we just don't really care. Like if I'm hungry or something and I will be a bit bitey, immediately be like, oh shit, sorry, I didn't mean it like that. I'm just hungry.
Yeah, like, you
Like,
just have an understanding
you just
of
be
each
like
other.
honest,
yeah.
and I feel like because I think we've had like in 7 years we had one fight and we were really drunk.
It lasted
and
less
we
than 20
literally
lasted 12
were
hours.
miscommunicating. Like we were genuinely hearing the wrong things because we were actually drunk. And the next day we like called each other, cried, and we're like, I love you. I miss you. I'm sorry. And it was actually a good opportunity to get like stuff off our chest that we hadn't been openly communicating.
Because that was like that's like another question because you're also working together, and I think like it's not like you're not like you have a business together, like you've got a podcast, you do something together. Is it easy for you? You're saying you're not confrontational. Like aren't there like a lot of things that come up and you guys are trying to, do you ever feel like there's conflict or not conflict, but like how do you
I think it's just getting comfy with like sometimes it's a difficult conversation, and like I know if Sal is ever like, oh, I thought it was this blah 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 blah, whatever it is, it's never personal. And I think I like knowing that like at the end of the day you're still just like my best friend. So it's like the other person never wants to be angry or mad. You know how like, I don't know if you've ever had a colleague that you like actually loathed entirely, but I have. And I was like, I don't fucking like you as a person. I don't like you as a colleague. I don't like you at all. And it's like, it's just nice when it's like, no, they love me. So like even if I've done something annoying,
There's
like
a deeper...
I've like forgotten to do something with work and Sal's like, did you do this? I'm like, no, I'm sorry. Like, and just saying that as well, just being like, fuck, sorry, dude.
Yeah, exactly. Like being able to own up when you've made a mistake or something and then sharing how you feel while it's happening, I feel like is always the best way to go in any kind of relationship. So it doesn't build any sort of resentment or anything. But I think also because we are so similar, our goals for Two Broke Chicks are very much aligned. So while there will be times where we have different ideas for things, we don't really disagree that much, which is lucky for us too.
Or we'll just be like, yeah, do it. If it works, it doesn't. Like if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Like it's a learning for next time.
And if we ever started fighting, we would just stop doing it.
Yeah, it wouldn't be worth like,
the actual friendship that you guys have.
I feel like last year there were so many like friendship breakdowns. I was like, what's going on? I was like, Sally, we next.
Friendship, relationships, a lot of things are just like, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just getting older and you're just realizing certain things, but it can get very scary. But you have to have that. I think there has to be like a deeper need. Like I used to do the podcast with Rahel, who's one of my closest friends, and we were always like friendship first.
Yes.
Friendship friends first, but then like life happens and your goals you're going in different directions. And for us, it was like, okay, she wasn't really wanting to continue doing the podcast, but I think because we have so much respect and love for our friendship, that was never going to affect the
100%.
relationship.
So nice.
And you still like, it's like, we fight, we don't get along, but at the end of the day, I know that this is just here. I don't hate you secretly, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think that there's some people just don't have, or like might not have that type of relationship, or I don't know,
Yeah, it does. It's definitely tricky, and I have a lot of respect for a lot of like friendships that work together, and just like even just colleagues in general. Like it can be true. You do have to have hard conversations. But at the end of the day, like you just always have to have respect at the bottom of it. And I think that's what. And like sometimes we'll just
forget. Like they'll get into a fight and they'll forget that I actually love you.
Yeah.
And then just get to say
like
things that
sometimes
you
I'll
can't
be like,
take back.
I love you, and I'm not saying this as your best friend. I'm just saying this as like your colleague. And like I'll say that I'll be like, this flopped. I'll be like, I love you. And like, I'll say that myself. I'll be like, our idea flopped. Like, I'm saying this as like not as your best friend.
Yeah.
But we'll just be like, this sucked.
Yeah, be like, hee won't do that again.
Don't take it personally. But
Like,
you're right. Don't take things personally.
I'm not like, your idea was shit. I'm like, fuck, we flopped, dude.
Yeah. So how'd you guys go from colleagues to what you are now? What was that like the transition?
So from like our old job to Two Broke Chicks.
To Two Broke Chicks.
So we both worked as journalists, as Al mentioned, and then we both moved into kind of a more creative content kind of role, which was more social media and whatnot. And we pitched the idea of Two Broke Chicks at our old job. So we recorded the first season of the podcast in lockdown in 2021, like batch recorded the first thing and then pushed it out to the world.
No one cared.
Yeah, like we didn't have a big audience or anything prior to
great.
launching the podcast. We just wanted to do it.
Yeah.
And then eventually, as it took off, we decided to take the podcast solo and expand the business from there. So it was an ongoing sort of thing, but we've been doing it solo just on our own for the last 2 years, and it's been so good.
Yeah.
It was a hustle.
Yeah.
It is a hustle. I feel like
Yeah.
people don't really understand the podcasting world. They're
You
just
have
like,
to
oh, you just jump on a
keep
mic.
going at it for ages.
Yeah, it's a lot of work in
Yeah.
comparison to other creative things. It's a lot of input for the return.
Podcasts are harder because the discoverability for podcasts
Yeah.
is definitely trickier. It's not like
Yeah.
a TikTok feed, right? Where one thing can go viral and then you're like, cool, I got 20,000 followers from that or whatever.
It's a slow burner.
Yeah, it's a slow burn.
Yeah.
But you guys have been so successful at it. Like, it's amazing to see how much you've grown over the years.
you
Like,
so
honestly,
much.
you're so
That's
cute as
so
well. Like, your face and
nice.
everything. It's so true, though. So I hope you know that. You talk so much about like navigating relationships, dating, all of that stuff. And I wanted to, I guess we kind of did it at the beginning of the episode because I was like, I want this conversation to be a little bit of like us talking about how you guys have actually navigated your life, because there's so many gems you drop in like, I guess, all your episodes, but also like us talking about, I guess, the misconceptions of what it can be like in reality. I guess 30s versus 20s is like one thing I really want to touch on. But I guess in general, like, how have you actually navigated all of that? I know it's such a broad question, but for you going into, just like money, career, like relationships, what has that been like?
I feel like it's been such a growth thing because like when we started the podcast, was I single?
Yeah.
Yes.
Technically.
It's a touchy
Were
subject.
you dating throughout the podcast, or was it like
so,
in a relationship?
I was like our single girly.
Yeah.
And then Sal was like our like married wife. But
I'm not
like,
actually married, but yeah.
With
But
the
like
same
you've
partner
been
you're with
yeah,
now?
Yeah.
Sal's been with her partner
Wow.
for 16 years
Yeah,
now.
it'll be 17 this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was
So
like
long-term
high school
relationship.
sweetheart.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like the
Yeah.
two sides of the coin.
Wow.
So it was like, okay, I was like our single girly. I would like bring my funny date stories to the pod. And then Sal was like very much our relationship guru. And she would really
Side note, sorry to interrupt. How was that with your dynamic dating? I mean,
Oh,
like
so fun.
so you're like single, living your
Yeah.
life, and you're in a relationship. Like, you guys are best friends, right? So how was that? Like, I think about my friends, and when we're single together, it's, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, it's like I guess more aligned at that time of your life.
Yeah.
And then when one's in a relationship, one isn't. There's like the mismatch. Was
I
it
feel
like that
we
for you
didn't
guys?
have that because it's like Sal was still really fun. Like,
Yeah.
you know how some people can, and I get it, sometimes they get in a relationship, they get in the honeymoon phase and they're in their little bubble and that's fine. But there are sometimes friendships where the person gets into a relationship
And that
and they
becomes-
drop off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
That never really happened. Like if I was like, let's go out on Fridays, I was like, I'm down.
Okay, I
Like,
love that,
like
yeah.
so down, so supportive in terms of like if I was going on a date, like Sal was always messaging, being like, "How's the date going? What's this?
You
What's
have to have
that?"
someone that's like really, I can't. I mean, you said I get it. I can't get it when people make a relationship their whole life, and I think that even is not healthy for them because it's like,
No.
how do you can't have one thing that
Your
fulfills every part of your
Yeah,
life.
no
Plus,
one
you're just-
person can fill up your cup. Like, you need to get that support from multiple different people.
Yeah.
And I think that doing that with anyone, whether it's your best friend or your parents or, you know, the person that you're dating, is really risky because if you have a conflict with them, who are you going to turn to when you need support
That's what I'm
in
saying.
that
You need-
relationship?
It's not a full picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had some good stories though.
I know, it was so much fun. I feel
Wild
like
time.
yeah,
But it was fun. But I've
Like the single life?
Oh, the single era was. Sometimes we think about the stories and we're like,
Oh my
fuck, that was a
God.
crazy time. Like, Jesus.
Single life is just like, it's a different.
She
it's-
was a different Alex then. I'm like, oh, sit down,
Yeah.
take a break. But she was good. She was fine.
Yeah.
But no, we
She was
loved up
having
now.
fun.
She was having fun. But yeah, poor Sal. Because the poor hangovers that this bitch went through just because of my
I get
single
really
era.
bad at hangovers. Please, it was all self-inflicted.
Yeah.
I get
She was
really
like,
bad
secretly she wanted
hangovers,
to
and I
be
have
there
like I
every
have a
time.
rubber arm. So
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
yay,
I'm
let's
like, let's go for a
go.
drink after work. She was like, no, I don't want to be hungover tomorrow. I'll be like, one drink.
And I'll
One
be like,
drink.
And then
Yeah,
they're
she
driving
has,
home at like
one
5 o'clock in the morning.
literally.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I feel like navigating all of that has been such like a growth opportunity. And I've said this on like Two Broke Chicks before, but I have learnt just so much from doing like the pod, from having like people on. It's honestly like free therapy. Like I'm like, fuck, I'm so much smarter.
I know.
From like all these
No,
people.
I'm actually like self-aware.
Yeah.
Because I know, like you're constantly, even just the two of you being on, because Rahel and I would talk, and it's like we're literally forced to talk through our emotions
Yeah.
and also like our experiences. And I'm just sometimes I'm like, why do I think like this? Even though, you know what I mean? Like you have a thought, you bring it to the podcast, and you're dissecting this conversation today, you know?
Yeah.
And then you're
Yeah.
just like, oh, actually, like no, my perspective's changed.
It's so fun.
Yeah.
What about you? What do you think? Have you grown?
Yeah, how have I grown? That's so interesting. Okay, so how have I navigated relationships differently from my 20s to my 30s? I think you just learn that you need to prioritize all the different relationships in your life. And for me, quite a few of my friends have started to have babies, which is really exciting. And it's such like a beautiful opportunity to see them grow into a mum and take on that role. But it does change the dynamic of your friendship. And I think just knowing that that doesn't discount anything that you've had in your friendship or relationship prior to that.
Yeah.
And that they're just on a different chapter to you. And it's such a privilege to watch that and be a part of that.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, sure, I can't be like, hey, there's a gig on tomorrow, let's go, can you drop
Yeah,
everything? They're
it's
like, no, I have to breastfeed my child. Like,
That's
you
me with
know-
my cat.
yeah. Well, even that, you know, that's important too.
I'm kidding.
But knowing that what you rely on them for may change, but it still can be a really beautiful and fruitful friendship, and just having a little bit more flexibility for your friendships to change.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
You had an episode about it, and it was like the pressure, the timeline to 30s and things like that. I'm 28 and single, right? And sometimes I'm seeing a lot of my friends around me, and they're like in relationships, having children, getting married, all these things are happening. I'm actually fine being single. I'm quite
Yeah.
like secure and happy in it, to be honest. But there are like glimpses, like moments where you're like, huh. Sometimes I get concerned that I'm like too chill. You know what I mean? I'm
Oh,
like,
I
okay,
get
am I
you.
a bit too relaxed
At
to
one
be in
point, I
this
thought I was
phase?
asexual because I was like, I fucking hate everyone.
Yeah.
Like when you're the single friend and you're looking around and you're like,
You're like, I don't want
I
what you
wanna-
have. But also
Yeah.
sometimes I'm like, I know eventually I do want to get to
Yeah.
that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you feel like there is still like, I guess with so much noise, we're always talking about it, podcasts, everything happening. Do you feel like there's still that pressure that exists like in society?
I feel like it's lessening.
It's
We-
definitely
yeah.
lessening.
We were talking about this the other day, and there was this stat from Female Invest, and it said that by 2030, 45% of women are predicted to be single due to less like financial and cultural pressure to get married. And it actually benefits women because studies have shown that single women live longer, are happier, and make more money. And it is actually doesn't benefit men because they lose access to the unpaid labor of women.
Yeah.
And even though I think that pressure is lessening, and I think statistically and studies have shown we're going to see more women be single and empowered in that decision, I don't think that necessarily lessens the need and want for human connection.
Exactly.
And I think that's okay. I
Yeah.
think, yes, women can and should be so empowered to be single. They should be empowered to be able to choose whether or not they want to date someone. But also, you can be empowered to say, yes, I want love. I want connection. That can just be with friends too. That's not lessened.
That's true. And I think
Yeah.
in this society, especially in the West, like there's the emphasis on community is not as strong. I feel like when I
Yeah.
think of like culturally and all, like, you know,
The importance of family.
it's
and
huge.
yeah.
And like even if it's not family, it's like the people around you. Like we're very big on like community. I feel like in the West it's harder to find that. Like think about our lives and like day to day work and things like that. So it does as much as it is empowering and you can live a life and be like with the girls and having the best time, I can also see it becoming like lonely at some point if you don't have the other things.
100%.
Yeah.
Like you're allowed to want that. Sometimes I think there is, and I really want to preface this by saying I'm like, I loved my single era. I love being independent. I absolutely believe that. But I also think maybe sometimes women can feel a bit ashamed or embarrassed to be like, no, I want to be in a relationship. No, I want to find someone. That's okay too.
Yeah.
And that's what like empowerment is being empowered to have that choice of what you want in life, whether you want to be in a relationship or whether you want to be single or whether you want to just go out on a Friday night and have a fucking bender with your friends. Like it's whatever you want to do. And I love that. Like I can kick a door if it's hinges when I realize I can do whatever I want. Like I can go home tonight and I can eat whatever I want for dinner and watch whatever I want. Like how fucking cool is that?
And I think for anybody who feels pressure, outside pressure to settle down in air quotes and get married and have kids or whatever it may be, I always tell myself that as much as, you know, say like an auntie or an old colleague or someone may have been like, oh, but like, don't you want to have kids? Like you're turning 30, like surely like you'll regret that one day.
Oh my God, yeah.
Like at the end of the day, when I go to bed and I lay my head on the pillow, it's just me. Even if my partner is laying next to me, really it comes down to me and my mind and how I feel. They're not actually involved at all. Like if you decide not to do something or to do something, it doesn't really impact anybody but yourself.
Yeah.
And you need to remember at the end of the day, while it is important to consider other people's feelings and to listen to other people's advice and perspectives on things, really it comes down to what you want to do. And if you go to bed at night, will you be happy with the decisions that you've made?
Also, what's crazy, the 3 hours at a family lunch while like some like aunties putting pressure on you to have babies, that's like still 18 years that you would have to raise a kid.
That's what
so
I
like
mean.
Literally,
3
like
hours
you're
at a
committing
lunch,
to something.
3 hours at a lunch of uncomfortable annoyingness. I'll take that, bitch. I'll take that.
I will, and I think that's a part of like growing up as well. Like I think for me, like now stepping into like this, my 30s basically, I feel like there was so much pressure from family, from like society and all of that, but now I'm like, this is really your life. Like you really need to make that decision, you know, whether you want to, I don't know, move overseas, whether you want to date, not date, do like get married. Sometimes, you know, I was like in a relationship and I'm like, if you accidentally marry this man, like you need to choose who you want to be. It's such an intentional decision and you can't just be with people or be in something because right now it's like this is the timeline and this is where you need to be. Yeah, I think you really need to be aware of like, and it comes with growth. I think learning yourself, becoming more self-aware, but that that realization of like this is really your life and you need to make those choices is a real thing.
Yeah, we feel like the decade of our 20s is like, that's it. When that's done, that's it. And I'm like, no, there's like, there's like 60 more years.
Yeah, like,
that it's like if that's not the vibe and that's who you're married, that's like 60 years.
Yeah.
When you're 30, divorce.
Divorce, babes.
Divorce, babes.
Yeah. By the time you turn 30, you've only been an adult for 10 years. Like, I don't even count the years prior to that. No. So I'm 10 years old in my mind. Like,
I've heard this before. No, I actually think 20s is not like a serious decade. You're actually a child.
You baby.
You're actually, you just left high school.
You are baby.
Yeah.
You can't make any lifelong decisions when you're in your 20s. That should actually be a rule.
Yeah.
Like, you should not be able to make any decisions that impact the rest of your life when you're 20.
It doesn't make sense. Uni cuts into half of that. Like you're just institutionalized.
That's some of the shit I did when I was in uni.
You know what I mean? Like be so serious.
Bitch.
Yeah.
One thing I love about what you guys do is like the way you talk about money and budgeting and all of that stuff, because I just don't think we learn about it enough. No. And it comes back to the whole conversation about empowering and being a woman and like not really understanding, because I don't know about you and how much knowledge you had like growing up, but it was like save. Make sure you save your money.
But how?
But you're not really understanding. Outside of that though, it's like I talk to my girls now and we're like, okay, but like how do you create like wealth? Like what does that mean? Because like working for the hour or working on whatever it is, a business or whatever, it doesn't really make sense to just like have the money and save it. So firstly, I want to ask you why is that such an emphasis for you? Like, why do you talk so much on like budgeting? How'd you get into all of that?
So at our old job,
yeah,
when we were both working in as journalists. We were in the same editorial team, but Al was in the shopping team and I was in the credit cards and personal finance team.
Yeah.
So both of us had like a lot of experience writing about shopping and money, and we both love to shop. But I think through that job is actually where I learned a lot more about the impact of debt and personal finance and why it really is important to spend your money mindfully. And it's not something that we learn in school, and it is still something that Al and I are learning as we go along. But I think what we found is that as we were sort of figuring out what Two Broke Chicks was, we knew that those were things that were interesting to us, but a lot of the topics that we covered around money and saving money and building wealth and whatnot is what really resonated with our audience. So we were like, so people like young women do care about this shit, but nobody's talking to them.
Yeah.
And we wanted it to come from a space of, we're not financial advisors, we're not accountants, or we don't have those accreditations, but we have the resources to learn more about it and learn along with our audience and share what we pick up along the way.
Yeah, that's where the magic comes from. Because I'm like, we are you. You
Yeah.
are us.
Yeah.
We
We're
are
learning
chicks.
with you. Yeah.
We are the chicks. Like, that's
Yeah.
the thing is, and what I always struggled with, and I know Sarah feels the same, is sometimes when you're kind of maybe listening to that financial advice or watching that YouTube, sometimes it feels a bit condescending. Like, it's like, if you don't have this saved, like, you're fucking failing. And I'm like,
Yeah.
well, I don't have that saved.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
yeah.
blah, blah, blah. And I felt like sometimes there wasn't someone talking to women like they were strong, like that they were empowered or strong enough. And it's like, no, we're not dumb.
Yeah.
Like, we are literally in society already at a disadvantage. So it's like, for us, it was coming at it from a place of relatability and understanding that, like, yes, finances are fucking hard
Confusing.
and and it's on purpose. Like, it is on purpose that this is confusing.
Yeah.
And like, I'm so glad we know Pythagoras theorem,
Like, what are we doing with that today?
but I don't know how to do my fucking
Yeah.
taxes.
Yeah.
So like, that's kind of where we've come into being like, our goal with Two Broke Chicks and the finance side was being able to teach people the things that they either might have to pay money to learn and to do that for them for free, or to just come at it at an angle of being like, you're not broken because you don't know this. You're not
Yeah.
behind because you don't know this. Because honestly, I had zero money in savings before I started Two Broke Chicks.
Yeah.
I was like, ew. Like, I live to spend money, and I
Yeah.
still do.
Yeah.
But like, the things that I've learned from doing it, and the fact that like I now know how to save it, I like to think of myself as the poster child. Of
What
being
would you say like are the mistakes? Like, okay, you guys, you
Ooh.
would have like dilemmas and stuff from people that I guess like write to you. Like, what would you say the biggest mistakes are for young people or women in general when it comes to money?
I would say, if you're scared to check your bank account, you need to check your bank account.
Oh my god, yeah, yeah.
That's like the one of the lessons that we learnt first off when we interviewed Smart Women Society,
Yeah.
and it felt like a gut punch because I
Yeah.
was like, how dare you?
Yeah.
How dare you say
What
that
do
to
you mean?
me?
Yeah.
What were you watching me on the weekend? Like, what the fuck? And I do think like I also had this tendency to bury my head in the sand, that I would be
Yeah.
like, fuck it, I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Like, I would spend money with a fuck it mentality.
Yeah.
And it always, without fail, came back to bite me on the ass. And I was like, okay, I need to absolutely sort that shit out
Yeah.
immediately. And that's probably been my biggest life lesson in terms of money, but also how much richness there just is in everyday life as well. That I love focusing on that, and I feel like I've become this like little woo-woo-y witch, being like, I love the sun and I love laughing and
the
like, all this
mindset.
stuff.
No, guys, why am
Yeah.
I into positive affirmations these days?
I love
was
that.
never.
That's
I used
how
to
we
hear
know we're
about.
getting into our 30s.
No, because I used to watch this and be like, oh my god, eye roll. Like, what do you mean positive? Like, what do
Yeah.
you mean if you just speak? And then, the power of words. I used
Yes.
to find it, and it's crazy. I used to find it corny when people would say, like, you just need
Same.
to speak this and you can say, like, it'll, but there's actually a science behind gratitude. Like, if you
100%.
train your brain you train your mind to start, like, thinking positively and being grateful, you multiply it. Shout out to my friend Henrietta, who started her own journal, like, called the Good Gratitude, and she has the most beautiful journal, and basically she gives you prompts every day, and you write the things that you're grateful about, and it's just such a intentional journal. But it's made me realize, like, I don't know. It's all practice anyway.
Yeah.
But I can fully relate to you. I'm just like, at the
I love
beginning, I'm
woo-woo
like, what is
shit
this?
now. I am 100% that bitch now.
I did have like a mindset, what do you call it? The mindfulness. Like I kind of rejected it after a while because I got into this really, really toxic cycle of just reading a lot of like self-help books.
Yeah,
at one
sometimes
point.
it's too much.
And then I'm
You
like,
need
this
balance.
is not
Yeah.
actually, what am I doing? I'm
I'm
just
like, I'm
reading
not a
it.
DIY
Because as
project.
well,
Yeah.
I don't like, sometimes I don't like the term like self-help books. I prefer it to be like self-development.
Yeah.
Because I find the term going into it being like self-help, being like, I need help is as if you're lacking something.
Yeah.
But you're not. Like you're looking for development.
It's always like
and
trying to
elevation.
fix you.
But if
and
you're
this,
always
yeah.
reading self-help books and self-development books and listening to those podcasts, one, you're not leaving yourself any time to have fun and just enjoy where you are.
It's very serious.
Yeah. And it's like
Yeah.
you just would always feel like you're lacking.
Yeah.
So I'm like, no, have fun. What have you learnt
Yeah.
over TBC?
Ooh. Like for my biggest money mistake.
Yeah.
Mine would be that just because you earn more money doesn't mean that you're better with money. When I was in my early 20s, I was really apathetic towards money and was like, well, I'm making shit money and, you know, I'll never have, like, I don't have parents who are going to give me money to buy a house and things like that, which is so fine. Love you guys. But, you know, I was just kind of like, you know, the cards are stacked against me. Like, it's so hard to be a young woman right now and save money and have aspirations. So, like, fuck it, whatever. I'm just not even going to bother because
Yeah.
I don't have any money to save. I can barely even afford to, you know, do X, Y, Z. But really, it's those habits that you learn early in life that will help you avoid lifestyle creep as you get more money. Because just because you are earning a higher salary doesn't mean that you know what to do with it.
Yeah.
So once I realized I'm actually self-sabotaging here, and I think I was using that as an excuse not to face my bank account and figure out
Yeah.
what to do with it. And once I was like, no, it doesn't matter that I'm only getting a minimum wage. If I try to put some of that towards saving, like that is a good start.
Yeah.
That'll help me
It's
get
like a
ahead in
like
some
building a
way.
habit,
Yeah.
yeah.
And just building those habits, I think, is so important. So I know that it can be really hard and not to feel sort of disenfranchised as a young person in Australia right now with the cost of living crisis. But I think that starting those habits will help you, even if in the littlest way.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's so much fear around it as well with money. Like to talk about it, to like go to your accountant and sit there, you're just kind of like, this is really overwhelming. Can you just like do what you need to do?
Feel like I'm going to get in
And, like,
trouble.
literally, why
like
do I
going to
feel
the
like I'm getting-
dentist. I'm
Yeah,
like,
why am I feeling like
know.
this?
Yeah.
What would you say are some savvy like tips for people who have like no idea on how to invest or they want to get into it but they don't really understand it? Obviously there's a lot of information around, there's a lot of noise around coins and stocks and this and that, but then I think that there are some ways that you can do it that's, I guess, not maybe like low risk or actually what would you
yeah.
say that they're like, well, what tips would you give people that are interested in?
Yeah, I would say even just to start, whenever you're looking at money, there's like a really good quote from James Clear that says like habits are like a double-edged sword. Bad habits can cut you down just as easily as good habits can build you up. So it's about like compound interesting good money habits. Whether that's like transferring $20 a month to an account that's like your fun account that at the end of the month you get to treat yourself with something. Like, I don't think we'll ever sit here and be like, no, you're not allowed to buy stuff that makes you happy. Like, otherwise, what's the fucking point?
Yeah.
Like, if everything's just going towards bills,
What am I here for? Yeah.
life sucks.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sorry, but I'm like, I want to buy a pretty dress. I want to buy the Hourglass palette in October when it comes out.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, I don't know. I just hate the narrative that like, that's bad and you shouldn't be able to do that. In terms of like shares and investing, I love how much this is becoming like a topic now because we were talking with a guest previously on Two Broke Chicks and she was saying that one of the 3 goals that you should have in your 20s is to start understanding and learning about shares.
Yeah.
And I think that's like a journey that Sal and I are definitely on at the moment. I would absolutely not call us fucking
Experts.
finance
Experts,
bros
yeah.
yet.
Yeah.
Just wait. We'll break into the locker room. But
So this time next year, yeah, guys.
this time next year,
Hold us accountable.
We're
Yeah.
gonna run it back, and then we'll have some
literally,
more.
I'm gonna have one of the giant houses in Vaucluse and be like Wolf of Wall Street. Just kidding. No, ew. But there are so many resources that I think are amazing. So one is the book Girls That Invest, and she also runs a course about investing, and that's probably the route that I would recommend people go down, because they actually have accreditations to teach you how to get into the stock market and how to get into shares. And I think that's the best way to do it, is actually teaching yourself rather than listening to someone telling you what to do. Teach yourself the skills to be able to just go and do it yourself.
Yeah. And I think there are so many apps and opportunities now as well that you can go in low risk, which is amazing. So for example, apps like Raise.
Yeah.
I think the minimum is $5 to invest. So even starting there, because I think the risk for a lot of people is they're like, well, I barely even have enough money to put into my savings account, let alone to risk, on the stock market. But if you can put $5 in, you can get more comfortable with the volatility of the market and learn how it works and just get your foot in the door with that smaller amount rather than being like, well, I got to put my whole life savings and put it on red and like hope that it works. I think, that's such a good place to start as well, just to get comfortable with it and with the language and different terms and what to expect.
It can be like very daunting. I started using Raise like a few years back. It just the roundup part of it was amazing.
Yeah,
like I remember,
so cool.
and you don't realize how much, because it's just taking little bits of your
cents here and there.
Yeah, and I'm just like, it's just Raise taking money. Like I'm not thinking like I have to even put this much aside. It just automatically takes it. And then I was overseas and I'm like, I can actually use this money while I'm out here to just be my spending money while I'm out here.
It's your pocket money.
Yeah, I love it. It's a really good, it's just financial literacy is so important. And I feel like it's just I love that it's becoming more of a thing because the way that it's just been so taboo to speak about money.
I know.
It's setting us back. It's setting us back, And for some reason, it's like men know, but women are just kind of like in the dark about it all.
Yeah, I don't think that's an accident.
Yeah. Patriarchy at it again. Damn you boys.
Okay, you've said before you're so woohoo right now.
Okay, I'm like,
You're like, she's like, I'm like,
You're like, shit, what did I say?
for you. No, I wanted to talk about My Rich Life. So it's this platform that you guys have launched, and I just love like the concept of it. And I want to hear more about it, and talk to me about where it came from.
Okay, so Rich in Life came from our tagline on Two Broke Chicks, that we share tips and tricks to make you rich in life.
Yeah.
And it definitely does come from this like woo-woo, but not woo-woo space of, I don't know, life is just so fucking stressful and busy, and there's so much that I feel like we have to do. You've got to drink your 17 litres of water, you've got to call your mum, you've got to do your job, you've got to get a promotion, you've got to go exercise 1,400 times a day. That it's just in like, okay, where is the fun? Like I feel like maybe we, as we grow up, we lose this ability to have fun and play. And that is such a big value, but we don't lose it. We just stop prioritizing it. We stop seeing it in like the little things. And that's where Rich in Life came from, is like we want to kind of bring back that element of fun and the little things that you just genuinely love doing every day. Like every morning that Sal gets up, she's so fucking excited to go and get her morning coffee. Like so happy. And like
it's a real joy.
Even just to,
It really is.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
Or even just reading a book or sitting in the sun, like having those, I hate saying it, but like mindful moments. That like,
It's true,
it sounds
though.
No, I
lame.
get you, but it's like almost like a shift that you need to have in perspective mentally to really like embrace that.
You have to have fun on purpose.
Yeah.
You have to, like, fun is not going to find you. Joy is not going to find you by accident. If you're walking around with a fucking negative attitude, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, that's the lens that you see everything through. And I think we've been taught that the only way you can be rich in life is by the possessions that you own and the money that you have. And that is such a limiting way to live life. And I think that, again, it's on purpose to keep people chasing after something that's really hard to get. And I do think that that part of life is really important, to make sure that you have financial freedom and you are thinking about that, but also that you can have richness in life through your relationships, through those quiet moments with yourself, through those moments of gratitude on the days where you're just like, God, I couldn't be fucked. But also allowing yourself to have those moments being like, no, today's a bit shit. And that's okay, because I get to go to bed and wake up tomorrow and start fresh. And I guess let's diversify how we get richness from our life.
We devalue our lives through comparing it to other people's. That it's like Rich in Life is about like putting the lens on the richness that you already have in your life, that you don't need to get from external validation, because you'll be broke forever if you constantly are seeking confidence, love, and happiness from external sources, you're going to be broke forever.
Yeah.
And so like and it's also been so good for us because like when we're doing it, we're like, oh, what am I like? It's just been really, really nice making that content and doing that channel because it is really just really fun.
That's why we launched the planner in the first place, because we were like, every New Year's we go into it being like, these are my goals for the year, and then by December we're like, oh yeah, shit, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Whereas we wanted something to, I guess, build micro habits and goals throughout the year that actually fulfilled us and
fun.
and that are fun, and create a way that makes you accountable for them and can help you progress and achieve the things that you actually want to achieve.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I feel like it's so needed. Like, what would you say your advice would be for people that are trying to find that balance now? Because I feel like sometimes you can say it, and then when you're in the thick of it, you're just like, oh, how do I, you know what I mean? Like, I'm going through all these things, like in my
100%.
relationship, my this, my that.
I am, Sal would laugh at me for this, but I get it like a new personality every month. And it's basically like I'll have this new life lesson or this new quote that I'm like, I am living by this.
Yeah.
And so basically my personality of the month this month is that there is someone 10 years from now begging you to have more fun.
Okay.
And it makes me think of, 10 years ago, what was I stressing about? And I can tell you it was about this guy that I don't speak to anymore, a job that I'm no longer at, and a roommate that was a nightmare that I no longer live with.
Yeah.
And I was stressing about all these three things. They consumed all of my time, and none of it affects me anymore. Yet I completely was not having fun.
It was like
depressed.
that was your headspace
It was my
at the
entire
time.
life,
Yeah.
and I wasn't having any fun. And
Yeah.
it doesn't even matter now. So half the shit that you're stressing about, one, probably isn't even happening. And when you stress about something before it's happened, you basically stress about it twice. Plus 85% of the time it never even happens. So whilst I completely understand that there is so many fucking factors to life, like paying your bills, doing well at your job, like trying to date, relationships, friendships, is stressful. But there is someone 10 years from now that is you
Yeah.
begging you to have more fun.
Yeah.
That it's like, that's okay. Just remember that like sending an email to marketing is not the fucking end of the world.
Yeah. Like, you will be fine if
You'll
you
be
just,
fine,
yeah.
girlie. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
No, that's so true. I think also having flexibility with what your goalposts are and knowing that you're allowed to change your mind. I think, a lot of us will set something and then maybe it doesn't work out that way, or you start, pursuing a career and you're like, actually, I don't really like this, but I've invested so much time in this thing or this relationship or whatever, and you feel like you have to stick it out, but you're absolutely allowed to change your mind and shift what those goalposts are. And it's exactly like Al was saying, prioritize your happiness and what you want to do and what you think your future self will thank you for, not what maybe your parents want you to do or what your shit boyfriend wants you to do,
Yeah.
As
You
the
really- yeah.
grand philosopher Hannah Montana says, you can change your mind and you can change your hair, you can change your clothes, you can change your mind. That's just the way it goes. But you'll always find your way back home.
Wait, Hannah Montana said that?
Hannah Montana said that.
It's in the movie.
It's in the movie.
I'm like,
Yeah.
It's a song.
I'm like, I know Hannah Montana. I don't
Alexa,
remember.
We'll send you the link to put in the show notes.
Yeah, send it to me. Yeah, I'll put that, capture that little section right there. No, I love this. Like, it's
know.
really, like a lot of like gems that you guys have dropped. Like, I don't know, we just get stuck in this mentality
And that's
basically, and you're just
okay.
like, I need to,
That's okay. It's just come up for air. It's all right. You're allowed to
Yeah.
overthink. It's impossible to avoid it. Just don't forget to come up for air.
Yeah, and you need to. I think you always have to have like those realizations in life.
Yeah.
But before we get into this, I'm similar to you. I'm the type of person that loves to rebrand, and right now I'm in my rebrand phase.
Yes.
Cute.
And I am trying to be known as a relaxed woman. Like, I was like, I want people to see me and be like, she's so breezy. Like, she's just living, loving, and just like, living life. But
You're
she
like,
still,
oh yeah, she's
she
chill.
still works hard. Like, she still has all the things she wants, but it like comes to her because I'm known as someone who's like so busy, and like I feel like I'm always running around. Like, I'm always like
don't want to be frazzled. No frazzles.
every day frazzled, and it's such a stressful space to be in. I'm trying to switch that up.
Unbothered. I like it.
Like it's like
Relaxed, moisturized in your own lane.
She's chilling.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what we all
Love it.
need.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
on
so
the moisturize.
Yeah.
Really heavy on the
skin is
moisturizer.
dry.
I
Yeah, 'cause
know,
we're getting
I
into
know.
winter.
Yeah.
This next segment is the last segment. It's called Bitter or Sweet. I'm going to
Love.
give you guys these paddles.
Oh my God.
Some makeshift paddles.
on the table.
I was like, what are
I was
they
like, yes,
saying?
we're going to play a game.
So basically, I'm going to give you two scenarios, and you're going to vote bitter or sweet.
Okay.
Bitter bitter meaning you agree, and bitter meaning you disagree.
Yeah.
Okay.
And sweet meaning you agree.
Okay,
Okay.
cool. I was like, wait, shit. That's not
Bitter,
what I was expecting.
disagree, sweet, agree.
Okay.
Bitter bad, sweet good.
Yeah. Sweet. Good.
Bitter
Yes.
bad.
Bitter bad.
She's a bitter bad.
I can't take you guys seriously.
Sorry, no one can.
Okay, bitter or sweet? I guess this just like we'll speak for general terms, yeah? Dating someone your friends don't like. Oh,
Wait, as in it's bad?
yeah. Is it bad?
Yeah,
I think so.
I think your friends, like, if they're good friends, they always want the best for you.
Yeah.
And when you're dating someone, you've got the rose-colored glasses on.
Okay.
So you're like, no, he's so different. Like, he does these really nice things. But it was like maybe getting you a coffee.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like he's doing the bare minimum,
bare
and you're
minimum.
just like,
He's
yeah.
just a man and he's breathing.
Yeah.
Also, it's 3 a.m. and you're bored. Like, it'll
What
be
if
fine.
your friends don't like? They haven't given him a chance yet. Like they don't know.
That's
him.
not very
It's just
good
like
friends
off first vibes, and they're like, no.
Well, I don't know, because it's like, what was the red flag that he
Yeah.
was giving to
Yeah.
raise their alarm bells?
I think if all your friends don't like someone,
Yeah, there's something going
absolutely
on
a
there.
reason for that.
Yeah.
No,
And
I'm with you too.
There's absolutely a reason for that.
Yeah. No, I think that
Back
I
in the
couldn't-
girls.
I'm very much like I love my friends' family. Like I want everyone to be like kumbaya together.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like you need to get along with them.
I think the thing is as well, if all your friends don't like the guy that you're dating, remember that's also not fun for them.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure your friends would much rather love the guy that you're dating. Like
Yeah.
they want him to pick you all up at the end of the night and be like, Charlie, drive us home. You know, like
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
fun for them too.
Yeah.
It's fun liking your friend's boyfriend.
Yeah.
So like this is not the easiest path for them
Yeah,
to
they
be
would
like,
rather
we
like
think
him than
Derek
to
sucks.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So bitter.
What are these names?
I
Charlie
don't
and
know.
Derek.
Charlie,
It's like,
Derek.
Who's the next
Are
one
they all
gonna
from
be?
Grey's Anatomy? Potentially.
Last one is unfollowing or blocking people, bitter or sweet.
Oh, sweet.
She said, I'm unbothered.
Sweet.
Really?
Yes.
Don't let anybody make you feel bad on the phone that you pay for. That's what we
Yeah.
always say.
Yeah. If you're a cunt, I'm going to block
You
you.
gotta go.
Yeah.
And like, I don't think you need to still follow the people that you spoke to 10 years ago in high school.
Can
That's
we talk
fine.
about that? Because honestly, sometimes I'm like, oh my
It's
God,
not
I really
personal.
like, there are some people that need to go. And it's just
Yeah.
like, you know, when you just feel like, you feel like they might feel a type of way. It's like, it's really
It's
not
not
personal.
personal.
Yeah.
It's not personal. Like, I don't like it. I don't like following like 5 billion people that I don't speak to anymore.
It's
'Cause
just
I have no
random.
need. I have no business knowing that. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Like,
And,
I
like,
don't think
Are
it's
you the
personal.
unfollow and unfollow on both ends? What are you doing?
I normally like, I think I had like a massive, maybe like 2 years ago, I just was like, I don't speak to these people. And I just did a massive thing and I just unfollowed a bunch of people that I don't speak to anymore.
Yeah.
And again, it wasn't personal. It wasn't nasty. It wasn't like when the Grinch is going down that list and he's like,
Yeah.
hate, double
Yeah.
hate. It wasn't like that. I was just like, I don't speak to you anymore.
Yeah.
And
It's
I
like that one
really
random
want
girl
to
you met on
see-
vacation.
Yeah. And
Oh my God. Sometimes I'm like, who are you? Like, I was
Yeah.
like, and I'm like, oh my God, I
thing.
think I met her in a club one time.
Yeah.
It's like, what is this?
I just didn't see my life in my social media,
Yeah.
which I think was the issue for me. I was like, I don't know this person. I don't know, like, I don't see my life reflected in
Yeah.
my social media. And I think that's where it can get unhealthy, is where we're potentially keeping up appearances or doing things that I'm like, no, I just want it to be like my life.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I think if anyone makes you feel like shit, just block them.
Block.
Sweet times like 10.
Yeah.
Sweetest.
Sweet
I
thing.
love
I'm
it.
like editing.
Put them together.
Yeah.
To make it
Sweet,
like a double sweet. Yeah.
Done.
Thank you guys so much. This was fun.
Oh my God, this was so fun. I
you.
can stay here forever.
I know. I'm like,
Welcome
we
to episode 2.
we're gonna do another take, guys, maybe
Yeah.
sometime. But let
Yes.
everyone know where they can find you guys.
Yeah, so we have our own podcast, Two Broke Chicks, available wherever you get your poddies. You can follow us on Instagram at Two Broke Chicks and on TikTok at Two Broke Chicks _. And then we also have our closed Facebook group, Broke Chicks Club. So if you love a good shopping deal or you want to ask like a question to the community, definitely join the Facebook group too.
We're everywhere.
Everywhere.
You can't skip.
I know.
I told you guys,
Sorry.
Aussie icons. I told you.
Stop it.
So you.
But yes, no, guys, take the flowers, please.
thank
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, do all the things, and I will see you again next week. Bye.